order of business is housekeeping. So we will do roll. President Colombo. Here. Chief of Staff Bracy. Treasurer Carter.
Here.
Parliamentarian Kaiser.
Here.
Communications Director Boga.
Here.
Recording Secretary Foxhole.
Here.
Graphic Design Coordinator Gazelle.
Here.
Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Chair Brouillard.
Here.
And President Pro Tem for Racing-Chair is stuck in traffic and is on the route. Senator Tudor. Senator Marinari.
Here.
Senator Mahan.
Here.
Senator Prometero. Senator Wolfhofer. Wackenhofer. I'm getting it. Senator Rial.
Oh, you're sorry.
Senator Raines.
Here.
Senator Tate.
Here.
Senator Woodyard.
Here.
Senator Harris.
Here.
Senator Barkley. Senator Samoa. Senator Brown.
Here.
Senator Adams.
Here.
Senator Randall. Senator Peterson.
Here.
Senator McLaughlin.
Here.
Senator McHugh.
Here.
And Senator Atkins is excused. All right, we'll go with approval of the minutes. Minutes were sent out with the agenda and everything else yesterday. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If there are no corrections to the minutes, the minutes are approved. We're going to move to the approval of the agenda. The agenda was also sent out yesterday. Are there any corrections to the agenda? All right. If there are no corrections, the agenda is approved. And we have guest speakers. We're expecting President Rosales.
Yeah, he's held up in a meeting right now.
Yeah, I think as Taylor just said, he's held up a meeting. So, okay. So we'll invite Ms. Johnson to speak upon.
Would you like me to come up there?
Yeah. Wherever you're from.
So we're going to call him audible here because President Rosales is supposed to be here, of course, but he's being held up in another meeting. But I will be able to describe sort of the activity that's taken place regarding the strategic plan over the last year. Again, my name is Chris Kovacic. I'm the AVP for Institutional Research and Strategic Planning here at Point Park University. Part of my job is to manage and maintain the strategic plan that allows Point Park to remain focused and steadfast towards the mission of the university. And usually around every 5 to 7 years, an institution has to create a new long-range strategic plan so that we can remain focused and know what we all need to work on to help students be successful, for the university to grow and to thrive. And we are at that point right now. We work where we are recreating or generating a new strategic plan. So we started this process a little over a year ago, and many of you may have been involved in the process at some point. It was all kicked off with a series of focus groups. They were called discovery sessions. We partnered with a firm who are experts in strategic planning at institutions such as ours. Anybody in this room participate in any discovery sessions last, I guess that would have been last fall or spring? Few of you, great. Very simple focus group, really pointed questions, asking students, faculty, staff, alumni, external community members, what do you like best about Point Park? What are the strengths? What are the challenges? What do you see the vision being for Point Park into the future? And all of that information from all of our constituents were taken into account as part of the first step of the strategic planning process. Something else that we did is we had a few very up of representatives of faculty, staff, board of trustees, executive team, deans of the schools, and department chairs. And so we take a look at all the feedback from students, faculty, staff, and everyone involved at the university. And in addition to that, it's really important that we look outside of the university to determine what are the challenges in higher education. What are the challenges for the city of Pittsburgh? The city of Pittsburgh is our campus. So any challenges that they encounter will greatly impact us. So that's a very important part of the next strategic plan. What does everybody inside think of Point Park? What should we be doing? What should we change? What should we improve upon? But also, what's happening outside of the university that could greatly impact the future of our university. So all of that information, again, is a very, very intense process. It took almost a year to gather all this information and all this data. And out of that, from a major sort of our last retreat that we had as a large group, we came up with major strategic initiatives that will form the next strategic plan. There are 6 of those, and they can be categorized into 2 camps. One as being drivers, so what's going to drive Point Park over the next 5 to 7 years? I like to think of these drivers as being very mission-centric. It's very much related to what we say we do and what we need to do for our students and our other constituents. Those 3 drivers are academic excellence or program excellence. So we want to maintain focus on our academic programs. That's our product. Maintain a high quality product is very, very important in a strategic plan. And out of that program excellence strategic initiative, there's going to be a number of things that everyone across the board is going to be working on at the university, both in the academic departments as well as the non-academic departments, to really maintain strength in our programs. Very, very important. But that doesn't do us any good if we're not also focused on the student experience. So the second driver of our strategic plan is the quality student experience. Now you may or may not have heard a lot of information about students that are having extra challenges with regards to finances, mental health challenges, just all sorts of things dealing with, things that aren't even really related to Point Park that they could impact their success here. Sense of belonging is one that's a very common issue that we're taking a look at. So all of these things are the student experience, and there's going to be a lot of people on campus that are going to have, they're going to be accountable for dealing with issues related to student experience and really trying to make significant improvements for the students. So with program excellence, student experience, and the third driver is contribution to society or community engagement. That's a big part of our mission. I already mentioned that the city of Pittsburgh is part of our community. Western Pennsylvania is part of our community. Pennsylvania is part of our community. Inside Point Park is part of our community. So there's a lot that we can be doing to make sure that we're fulfilling our mission to contribute to society and contribute to the community at large. So those are 3 drivers that are going to be in the strategic plan. Well, how do we get there? Along with the 3 drivers, there are 3 things that allow us to get there. We call those enablers. And the first one is growth. We need to grow as a university. Fortunately or unfortunately, Point Park is extremely driven by the number of students that it enrolls. They call that being highly tuition driven. So the more students we have, the more resources we would have to carry out the things that we want to accomplish. Dr. Purcell is coming down. And so if we're able to increase growth, then we will be able to accomplish those things set forth in the institutional drivers. That means we will be able to enhance program excellence. That means we will be able to do things around the student experience that we couldn't do before. And then finally, it will allow us to do things within the community to benefit the community and contribute to the community that we could not do if we did not have the resources available. So growth is really, really important. As you would imagine, many of the objectives under the Growth Strategic Initiative will sort of fall under the area of admissions and enrollment. So they're really taking a good hard look and trying to come up with additional strategies to increase enrollment at Point Park. So that's the first enabler. Another enabler that will allow us to kind of take the next step is advancement. And Ted, would you want to say a few comments about advancement? Ted Black, I'll let him introduce himself, but he really can speak to this next enabler for our next strategic plan.
So, advancement is really alumni, connecting with alumni, connecting with the community. A lot of things that we want to do, we're going to have to raise money outside of tuition. We have some really big plans. Downtown, if you're here, it's such an awesome time. Downtown's coming back from the pandemic. We're starting to reimagine what they're going to do. The office workers aren't going to come back at the same level they were. Point Park is going to be a major driver, major catalyst in how Pittsburgh comes back. A big chunk of you, maybe all of you, will really consider yourself Pittsburghers. If you don't, when you leave here, you will be ordained as a Pittsburgher. So we care deeply about the downtown. Downtown needs Point Park, quite frankly, as much as Point Park needs the downtown. So we need to grow our revenues. We're going to do that through engaging with our alumni, engaging with you. All of you are going to be future alumni. We're going to all work hard on that to make sure that that happens. So we want you to stay connected to your school. And we want you to have a philanthropic heart. So whenever you're out there and making money, you consider giving back to your school. That could be $1 to help all of you become multi-millionaires. You give us lots and lots of money. But when they count participation of alumni, that $1 and that $1 million contribution actually counts the same. So when you get to that point when you're thinking about giving back to your school, think of the participation rate as an important rate. So we want to do that by raising money. And then some of the other things that we want to do to raise money, we want to do it through working with the state and county, working with the foundations and the philanthropic communities, and obviously working with the corporate community. Because the things that Chris was talking about raising our enrollment and growing the university, we want to make investments in physical spaces. Our basketball team plays at CCAC. We'd like to have that downtown. We'd like to improve the athletic spaces that we have for our other athletes. We'd like to improve and enhance even more performance spaces, which you know so well around the country, especially the conservatory. We want to also build connective tissue between the conservatory and the other schools so that you're able to grow as individuals and expose yourself to the entertainment and the arts world, despite, regardless of what your major in business. I come from a sports and entertainment background professionally, with a great opportunity to have this be your living laboratory. So that's really what we're talking about when we're talking about advancement and growing. And young lady here was some of that, can't remember her name, I'm sorry.
Alexis.
Alexis, I ran into Alexis with an alumni over the weekend. She was awesome and helping me to engage an alumni who is a game developer. I hope you connect with Jeff. If you haven't, please do so. Jeff, an alumni, one distinguished alumni. I ran into Alexis. She helped with a tour of the animation studios. And this is a fellow that worked at Activision Blizzard and ended up back on campus in forever. So we're hoping to build a connection with them and to do some things that are really cool on campus oriented. So I'm going to look forward to folks like Alexis and all around this room help us engage with alumni. That's two-way street. I hope you connect with him and help you with your career. So that's, I'm not sure if I answered the question. What was the question? Who are you? Why are you
To
here?
describe the fifth strategic initiative of the strategic plan, and then the last one, the last enabler that allows us to accomplish those mission-centric initiatives is capacity. We need the talent, we need the quality of faculty and staff to help us get there. We also need the best technology available that allows us to leverage that to make improvements where it needs to happen. Safety and security, we need this environment to be safe and secure for students, faculty, and staff. That also allows us to accomplish the things that we set out. So capacity is the sixth strategic initiative that will be part of the strategic plan. And so just so that you know, before I ask Dr. Versailles to come up, and he can certainly fill in the gaps, the last thing is to help everybody understand the strategic plan is not something that we create and we set on a shelf somewhere, or we just put it on the internet and, oh, this is a beautiful strategic plan. It needs to be a living and breathing document. We need to work the strategic plan. If we expect to advance and improve and get to where we want in the next 5 to 7 years, that strategic plan is our roadmap to success. So my commitment, being in charge of maintenance of the strategic plan, is to make sure that everyone is accountable for making sure that things are accomplished in that strategic plan moving forward. And that's my commitment to you, that we will stay steadfast and make sure that people are striving for success and improvement. And so, Dr. Versailles, would you like to come up and do a few comments? Thank you.
How's everyone doing? So what's my team did all the heavy lifting. So I think this is just such an exciting time for the university. The really cool thing is, we're stepping up our game, right? Doubling down on the academic programming, grounded in experiential learning, because we think it's also our best by doing, right? And we're stepping up our game in the student experience. We want you to have, even more opportunities, even better experience, right? And we're going to, do this, and we're also going to give back even more to our community, to society, to our community. And we're going to formalize things like, so look at all the things we've been doing around, the studies, coming out of our PhD program and community engagement. We're going to formalize that. Right? We're going to set up an Institute of Community Engagement, a storefront, which will be an opportunity for folks in the community to come in, with opportunities, with things, problems to solve. And who's going to solve those problems? All of us. All of us. And we're gonna pull these things off. Number one, by going to university. The reason we want to grow the university, the primary reason we feel we need to grow this university, is because we think we have a product that people want. We know we do. We know that we have something here that other people want. And so we're gonna look for more opportunities to do that. We're not gonna keep fishing out of the same pond when the number of fish is declining, right? In the Northeast, there are less and less traditional age students. But we have non-traditional students. 1 out of 4 adults is trying to finish a degree. We want those students here. There are other pockets of the United States that have growth, but that lack the opportunity to attend a dynamic urban university. And that's what we're going to present. So the really cool thing is, Point Park's on the move. And you know who's going to accomplish this? Not the president, not the president's team. It's us. It's all of us. It's our plan. And what a cool thing to look back on. Not only as a student, but as an alumnus. Look back and say, man, wasn't that amazing what we pulled off? That's what life's all about. It's about how many people can we impact? Can we get that one student to go to college who maybe thought it was not a possibility? Can we get that one student to persist and get their degree and change their life? And we're all in this together. Man, what an amazing thing to be able to look back and say, wow, look what we did with the university. And it was so cool. Homecoming weekend, family weekend, particularly to see the alumni come back. They were just amazed. They weren't here too that long ago. Like, we used to just do buildings. We're not like the first or second largest property owner downtown. We have like 17, 19 buildings downtown. Pretty amazing. Wow. Wow. What a sense of pride. But you'll have that sense of pride. Say, look what we did. not only is a university, but I think we can be the model of transforming post-pandemic major urban areas, major cities. We have an opportunity to be a model for that. You know, in the post-pandemic world, I don't think the office workers are going to come back in droves to fill these offices. The world has changed. But you know what? Downtowns in the future are going to be driven by the creator economy. That's New York creators. They're going to become centers of arts, entertainment, recreation. How cool? How cool? So we're gonna transform the university, this region, and we're gonna develop a model for others around the world to look at, and then follow. So I think it's an exciting time for us. What do you guys have for me?
Is there any questions for Dr. Salas about the strategic plan?
Yeah.
But I think you're absolutely right, like from my experience, like coming from Point Park, you're absolutely right. Because I actually, senior year of high school, was not planning on pursuing something high. I was planning on going to WVU, medicine, city and obstetrics. And I took a chance, and I heard of Point Park pursued there, and at the time, I was in love with the arts. I was at part magical choir, I did theater, in art, I did AP art, it was truly something I loved. And so I took a chance and I came here and I fell in love with, like, just the community, the people, the tour guide who had me, how wonderful, like, I think this place is, and seeing it all, it really was amazing. And that's why I am so glad I decided, last minute to become an animation major and to be here. And I've never been happy, really, and I can't see myself doing anything else.
That's awesome.
And so I agree with everything you said, and I'm excited for the future.
I love to hear that. I give advice all the time. Follow your passion. Follow your passion first. Do something you're passionate about, because that will grow, and the money will come later. Your story reminds me of me. I was hell-bent, I was going to do this path, I was going to do science, I did science, go to medical school. It was a good job, but it wasn't what I was passionate about. And I kind of took a risk, followed my passion. Well, you'd be a master's degree anyway. I'm only interested in business and politics. I need to have trade, something to fall back on. Yeah, I just loved what I was doing and never looked back. So, I love that. I love that. Love that. Yeah.
What you mentioned about connections between five schools spoke to me personally, because I'm part of the territory of the performing arts, and even though we are the largest of the five schools, we are largely connected.
6 schools now.
6 schools?
High school professional studies.
But even so, we're still kept in our own bubble a lot of the times. So I'm well aware of the territory. A good 98% of my friends here at school are concerned. So I don't know anybody in the school that's in sciences, the school of communication, the school of business, and I would love to make those connections, because when I graduate and I'm out in the theater world, I want to know people that are knowledgeable in those other areas of work and employment. So what plans do you have for those schools to make those connections?
Great question. So, one of the things we're trying to do is so you have these disciplines, and that there's makes sense. You have these synergies within these disciplines, these silos that we create, right? Higher education, we love to create these silos, but we're putting some structures in place to hopefully grow that stuff away as well. Like for example, our Playhouse Theater. When that was built, the vision for that Playhouse Theater, that is an asset of the entire university, right? We kind of, when we were developing this, and I was a consultant with the university at the time, we were envisioning like a Disney conglomerate, right? We have all these different enterprises, all these different things, different disciplines running out of this shell, this housing, the playhouse, right? And that's what we want to do. And so, bring Keisha Lalama in, is managing an artistic director of the Playhouse. She gets it. She gets it. So we want business students there, we want education students there, we want students in the School of Education, we want students, we started this minor in, we have civil, electrical, mechanical engineering, we started a minor in theatrical engineering, right? So we're creating things like, we all know what we're calling, out of the Playhouse, cross-function, cross-disciplinary lab, right? We're developing an accelerator program that we want to fund new intellectual property, or, it goes to Point Park, students, faculty, staff, new creations in this realm that has anything to do with, with arts, entertainment, technology, media, cross-function, cross-disciplinary. Or Center for Media Innovation, that's the whole concept behind that. It's not just the school communications asset. We want all disciplines to be involved, to be engaged in these labs that we're creating, these cross-functional interdisciplinary labs that we're creating. And then we want you, based on your passions, your desires, you have an idea, we'll help you start it. That's also to be extracurricular activities as well. Do something you're passionate about, and you don't see it in our list of student activities. Well, this is on you. Create it. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's build something, right? That's what we're here to do. We're here to help foster creativity and innovation. That's what we're trying. That's embedded in our mission. That's what we're trying to do because the world is different. A static traditional degree, and that's, what's Moore's law? It's technology and information that just increases exponentially over time. You have to, it's about learning how to adapt and react and be dynamic, right? So that's what we're hopefully trying to teach here at Point Park, and trying to equip you to be able to, have a fulfilled career in this new world ahead of us.
I got a question. Yeah. You talked a lot about, and Ted and Chris, about growth and growing university. Can you talk a little bit more about retention and more so the student experience when it comes to either the facilities that we have to make sure that, because a lot of people here are dealing and working on behalf of the students who are already here. And planning, when I looked it over, it looks like a great plan for the future that we have ahead. But as for now, even the next few years ahead, when we talk about facilities and getting new things for the students here. For example, just from an educational standpoint, I think I talked to you about this before, when we look at our own website. More so, I understand, it's more so a tool for enrollment and growth and for students who aren't here. But whenever we look at, when we go to the website as a student here, it is a different experience. And we're now a Point Park student. How can we go about fixing that where it's an easier experience so the students can find stuff easier? There's a lot of concerns. What we're focusing on this year, there's only a few things. We talked about the IT departments. We want to work with IT very closely with Tim Wilson, Colin Arts. And we're doing that for a specific reason. We don't want to get too overwhelmed and not get anything.
So over half the initiatives in our plan for the students right here, right now. We're growing because we think we have something to offer that the world wants. We're also growing because it also gives us resources to feed that in. It gives you sustainable cash flow to feed back in and build it. But these initiatives, our initiative around student experience, that's not for tomorrow. That's for now. We're stepping up our game now. The things that we're doing in our initiative around program excellence, That's now. You know, Dean Palo's job is going to change a little bit. Dean Palo is going to be responsible for the entire university experience. The experience that we all have, you have in faculty and staff, because it all melts together. If we have a dissatisfied faculty and staff, do you think they're going to serve you well? No. Everyone has to be on the same board. Everyone has to have a certain level of satisfaction. So that's going to be a big part of Dean Palo's job. In order to pull these things off, our last initiative is around capacity. We're kidding ourselves. If we say that we're gonna ramp up our game in providing, excellent academic programming and take the student experience to another level, we're kidding ourselves. This is just an academic exercise. We're kidding ourselves if we don't start now and do a better job of attracting, retaining the best faculty and staff. Because there's a correlation between the quality of your faculty and staff and the services and program correlation, right? So, so we are working now to make sure we have the best talent to serve you. We are working now to make sure that we have the best technology, which is very expensive, but we have initiatives that we're working on now, trying to have. And in fact, there was an article in WDSA about the study of shared services. How do we, schools like us, we don't have the wherewithal to continue to have money, continue this arms race. It's an arms race about the best software and technology to keep all our information secure and top notch, right? So we have to pull reserve opportunities to pull resources with other schools, share resources to be able to pull that off. These things are helping out, right? We want to make sure we have the best infrastructure. And we need to have the best facilities to continue to attract and retain students. I think I shared with some of you. We brought in an expert, a world expert in this domain that we want to play in, right? We want to do more parks and entertainment. And this expert said, I am the guru of this field in the world. One problem is I didn't know the point mark was this. That's a problem that we're going to fix. Because we tend to we tend to like to keep secrets. We don't tell the world what we have, what we can do. So we're going to fix that. Another thing this person said is he rattled off some of the names of some of the best known institutions in the country, and said that they cannot hold a candle to Point Park in the sort of facilities and assets of Point Park. You say flat. So we already have incredible assets, and we're identifying things that we need to make improvements. And that takes time. We're going to raise money for that. We're going to raise. We need more residential housing. We need to improve some of the residential housing. Some residential housing in counties is pretty nice compared to other schools. Some needs some improvement. But we need more residential housing. That takes time. But we're going to do it. We need more recreational space on campus. We're already starting to make some improvements with the student center. We even have bigger plans for that space. We're talking big plans. That doesn't happen overnight. But I'm telling you, we're getting the community, the entire community behind what we're trying to do here in our district. And it's like a lot. But a lot of these initiatives are now. Because we have to keep every student. Our retention has kind of been, sometimes we go up a couple of points and then sometimes we drop. This has to be kind of ratcheting up. We can't drop. We can't go up 2 points and drop a point. That's crazy. Crazy. Right? So we're making changes in a lot of these areas as we speak. I mean, one of the first things I did is I heard we need to do a better job communicating. I established a communications task force. What the key? There's like February, March, one of the first things, right? We're ready to announce probably today or tomorrow, we have our first internal communications coordinator to do a better job of communicating. Someone who kind of bird dogs, communication. I mean, we're running like, 50 miles a minute, 10 different directions, but someone who focus, because that's important. The community said that that's important, right? We're making changes in how we provide support to students. And believe me, as an outsider, I challenge everything. I'm like, listen to what you've always done it, Dr. Skowski. So what? Are there ways we can take services to the students? Trying to be crazy when we expect students are going to go on and make an appointment for 8 o'clock on a Tuesday morning or something like that. It doesn't. I didn't do that as a student. I need help and I need help. Right? So we're rethinking these things. Through the lens of that's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's why we're in these jobs. Because, a lot of us, we had incredible experiences. People helped us. I had mentors. Chris had mentors. Dean Palo helped. We all had mentors. Dean DC had mentors. We all had mentors. And it gives us an opportunity to give back. Because someone gave to us. That's why we're here. Yeah.
So, you mentioned a lot before about like preparing for the future and like giving back to the community. So something that I would like to know about is like does the school have any sort of plans for like a net zero emissions policy in terms of like energy related things? Because I'm a non-traditional student. I graduated high school class of 2020, and in the 3 years since then, what I've mostly been doing is working in nonprofits related to environmental issues. SGA General is like really bent on environmental issues. So I would like to see the university become a leader in sort of changing that.
So, we have a lot of issues on campus that are kind of doing, and the Pittsburgh Playhouse was the first ever green certified theater of its type. And I appreciate this. I developed a graduate curriculum in environmental policy and planning and environmental policy from the University 30 years ago. I understand it, I understand the importance of it. And so, it's always, it's always part of the criteria things that we do. We develop, we want to develop responsibly. We want to be a model.
So you talked a lot about initiatives for the kind of student experience to stimulate retention and hopefully growth. And you talked about non-traditional students, but do you have any like specific initiatives targeted towards I'm a graduate student myself, and I know that's just a separate population than the undergraduate population.
Yeah, it's an important part of our population. We hope to grow it, right? Graduate students, online students. We want all the students to be part of this community and to feel part of the community. We want to have, just as much as we can, as rich in engagement opportunities for online students as our traditional on-ground students. And we're not doing everything at the expense of all the other groups that focus on traditional on-ground students. We're focusing on all those different constituent groups that the university has, because they're all important to us, right? We want everyone to have an excellent experience, even if you come here for a certificate. As far as I'm concerned, you come here and you take a class, you're now an alumnus of Point Park University. We never had that attitude, other schools do. We're going to have that attitude, you're part of our family. Yeah. Right? So, yeah, we have a lot of things in our plan to focus on.
Yeah. And you already touched on a few of these, but I guess I was wondering, what are some things that we can expect as a student body to see implemented, fairly quickly, or things that are going to be our first, recognition of the university?
So one was, when we came here in the fall, we started working on the summer with dining hall. hopefully you notice. I think, and as you can, look at me, I don't miss any meals. I think the quality of our food is pretty good. One of the things that Dean Pam and I have been working on is, when I started in February, I was a little disappointed. Some days, some of the variety wasn't very consistent. And we worked on that, and hopefully you see there's consistency and variety. I haven't been disappointed with the quality of food. You see the improvements that we made at that facility. I'm the type of person I always have a television on, a panel on to see those are now in the dining hall. The university radio station is playing in the background. Beautiful facilities. So those are some of the things, and we're finishing up this career readiness center. We have in the works. We have, can I publicize? Can I talk about what we're doing over here? Oh, straight. So we're looking at the stuff here. We're looking at developing a true wellness center on campus. We don't have to front door. The campus, we have to make sure. We're working on improvements. See that going, green going. We're looking at the concept of developing a one-stop for all student support. Because I don't like the fact that each sport, okay, we go to 4 West End, and then we go 94 Dinner Hall, and when I was on my listening sessions, I heard students call the 40 Park Shuffle, right? And so we're hopefully going to make things more user-friendly for the student. So those are some things that we have in the works. So those are near term. Then we have some other big facility plans that will probably take a few years, but hopefully not too many years, because I'm very patient.
So, can you speak about non-traditional students and I really hear this thing, but if I recall the fact that you said that the 104
105,
105.
I'm going to finish the revolve. Yeah, nationwide.
So, like, in what ways do you think the third party needs to work on if we're going to welcome these types of students? Because originally, and just like students who want to go back to college, students who are be normal, like, for these areas, because speaking from my point of view, my recommendation is to go back to college, because sometimes there's fear, I feel like there's fear in everything, going back to college and being the standout person. So,
That's a great question. Great question. So historically, your university was a truly were the pioneers. We were a pioneer in educating non-traditional students. We started, how many years ago, guys, did we start the weekend,
Saturday fast.
Saturday Fast, like 20 some years ago? Longer than that. Over 20 some years, we were the first school to start a Saturday Fast program geared toward non-traditional students working with adults. Come to school, and that's when the focus was still on ground. Come to school over the weekends to get it free, right? We are doing more in online education. Let me give you a little peek. This will be announced maybe this week. I think this week, maybe next week. We're going to be announcing a new program. First program ever like this in Colorado, Pennsylvania, where we will have a program that accelerates the targets paraprofessionals who work in education. Okay, paraprofessionals. So they typically don't have a degree, they work in the education field. We're developing a program where we get those students that are interested in getting a teaching career with teachers to get them experience for the work experience that they already have, and it's an accelerated program to get their degree. We're told this is a game changer in education. The change, to directly address the teacher shortage we have here throughout the country. That's when you have non-traditional students. Non-traditional students, many of them just feel that they're trapped. They're like, I'm in this role. I feel underutilized. I'd like to be a teacher, but how do I get out of this where I am? I have kids, I have responsibilities. We're going to find a way. Another program that we're involved with is the Pittsburgh Scholar House. You guys familiar with Pittsburgh Scholar House? They operate out of Point Park University. There's a waiting list of 300 single parents. Most of them are moms. 300 single parents that want to start with a course degree. We want to provide a seamless opportunity for those single parents to get their degrees. But you know what, one better than that, we want them to live on our campus. We want their families to live on our campus. How cool is that? We're part of our university community. And we provide seamless services for them. So those are some of the things that we're doing. Those are outlined in our strategic plan. We're putting resources behind it to make it happen.
I think branching off of non-traditional students, I was wondering if like there's going to be anything implemented for commuter students and things like parking, the travel, obviously with the new bus passes, that's a great start.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any more.
Yeah. So yeah, the busing is hopefully a good start. Hopefully everyone appreciates that. Parking, we're always looking at parking. I mean, it's an issue for everyone. Everyone who works downtown. It's an issue. I mean, just, my first week, one of the first things I was on the phone, trying to use my contacts and exploit my friends who are on the board of the parking board. Hey, you guys work out a deal for us. We're constantly looking at that, right? But hopefully the transportation, but the port, you can have a regional traffic transit or a UPass program helps. Like all other constituents of the university, like graduate students and other traditional, and we want to service those students. We have things in our plan and try to provide those programs.
Thank you, Dr. Giselle. We'll take this last question.
Thank you very much. So I kind of wanted to say, we're talking about integrating Point Park into our community. And I think Market Square is central to the rejuvenation of downtown.
Yeah.
Because, especially after COVID, it's where, especially after classes and stuff, or stress, you go down there and there's something amazing going on. And
It's our playground. Yeah.
Exactly. And I was just thinking if there's a way Point Park can integrate themselves more so into the activities of Market Square, specifically through the conservatory, because for example, during Christmas time, Christmas dinner, when our community really comes together, there's a stage, and I would go down there, frequently, one day I'd see a choir of middle schoolers, the next an indie band. With the conservatory of performing arts, we have a plethora of amazing, talented, singers and actors and whatnot, and I was just thinking, if we're able to utilize that with Market Square and perhaps for example put on performances down there, that gets Point Park's name not only a part of the community more so, but it's a name spread out there and can inspire people going to the downtown and kind of when they see something that makes it they think of it.
So Keisha Lalama is working on some things right now, like using the assets of the conservatory to do exactly that. But I throw this out. I'm pushing on 60 years old. You guys have more creativity now in your pinkies than I probably have left in me, right? You know what you would like. You know what would resonate with your peers. I'm trying to say Dean Halo is, I won't tell you he's older or younger than me, but we're close. You guys have more creativity in your thinkings. You come up, if you think something's cool, you think there's a cool idea, approach one of us. Approach one of us. We'll probably try it. Right?
Thank you, Dr.
Yep.
Salas.
Thank you. Thanks for the
All right, we will now move to, executive cabinet appointment. I will yield the floor to President Colombo to explain further his, executive cabinet appointee.
Hey, everyone. What's up? That was long enough. Hope you all enjoyed that. You all got your questions answered. And if you still have questions, you can always email the president's office. You can talk to me. You can always figure out ways to ask the president questions, initiatives. Yeah. So for this, David once again is resigning, and I have picked Senator Amy Reeves back there to be the next parliamentarian. Obviously, it has to be voted on, and that's what you all do. And I picked Amy after a couple interviews I've had, and I thought that her experience working in CAB and having her own committee, which she'll have a rules committee, as well as her experience in sale office, gave her strong understanding of what the responsibilities would be. I hope you all vote for him, and I think she'll make a great job.
All right, with this vacancy, President Colombo has made his appointment. If someone would like to make a motion to approve the appointment of Amy Reeves as parliamentarian for the Government Association, such motion will be accepted at this time. Senator Marinari. Thank you. Is there a second? Representative Hernandez out. Seconds. Is there any discussion? Amy, I know that the Constitution gives you a couple minutes to speak if that's what you would like to do. If not, that's perfectly fine. So I'd like to ask you first if you'd like to say anything.
I think President Colombo has said, and also why he would be a great fit.
Is there any discussion? Representative Hernandez out.
I'm just gonna say, I look forward to working with you.
Any other discussion? If there is no further discussion, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of approving the appointment, please raise your hand. All opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes unanimously, and Amy Reeves is now the SGA parliamentarian at the Government Association. We now have a Senate appointment. Once again, before I get some of the videos set up, I will yield to President Colombo to explain. President.
Yeah, I don't have to say too much. This is Nick Buono. That was my name.
Thank you, President Colombo.
Hi, everybody. My name is Eduardo, and I would like to be senator at large because I do not like to turn down. And when Mark approached me saying that he was senator, I had to jump at the opportunity to be part of that community because I want to make a difference, which is why I want to be part of that community, because I want to make a change in school, especially focusing on cafeteria and local work students, because those two areas that I think is really important. The reason I cannot make the meeting, unfortunately, is every Monday I have class from 9:40 to 5:40, and I won't be able to meet the meeting, which is unfortunate, but I still think that would be a document with SGA. So I would appreciate it if you guys could go and thank you so much.
As that was the case of appointment. If, someone would like to make a motion to approve, Nick Bueno as a senator, approve the appointment of Nick Bueno as a senator at large, such a motion will be accepted at this time. Senator McLaughlin,
Motion to approve Senator at large quotas.
appointment, okay, yeah. Is there a second? Senator Marinelli, yes, understand. First and seconds. Is there any discussion? Being that Senator Mahan.
Yeah, I guess I'll just say, and I think we're probably all on the same page here, but it's better to have someone who can't show up than to have nobody at all. You can still come to committee meetings and stuff and, be instrumental in some more behind the scenes work.
Senator Pearson.
I guess I was just wondering, is there any difference in anything that like he'll be like receiving? Will he still be getting emails for our meetings and everything, just so he can make sure he's reviewing things,
Yes, that is.
despite the fact not being able to be here?
Yes, that is correct. That's why we have the position of senator at large for, even people who do not pay the student activities fees, such as part-time graduate students, or for people who do not regularly attend our meetings, but, they're still just as much a senator as all of you, and will receive all the emails, all the things that you all get, and will also be assigned committees. Is there any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, we will take this to a vote. All those in favor of approving the appointment, please raise your hand. All opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes unanimously and the appointment is approved. We will now, this time swear in, parliamentarian Reigns. Please stand and, raise your hand. Repeat after me. I, name, pledge to serve the State Government Association of Point Park University.
I, you pledge to serve in the Student Government Association of Point Park University.
And the students within,
Students attend.
to faithfully execute the duties assigned to my office,
To faithfully execute the duties assigned to my office.
and to the best of my ability,
To the best of my ability.
uphold the provision and purpose of the Constitution of the Student Government Association.
Uphold the provision and purpose of the Constitution of the Student Government Association.
Congratulations, parliamentarian. Now we move into our first open floor. Does anyone have anything for the first open floor? Representative Giselle.
Hello, so all right, I just want to say, wonderful to meet you all. My name is Alexis Cassell. I am the graphic designer at SGA. And I want to formally apologize for not being at the meetings. You know, I had some personal issues, and but I'm back and better than ever. All right, so what I want to discuss a little bit is about mental health. And, you know, I think that is important. You don't necessarily have a committee right now, but this is something I want to work forward to if anybody would be willing. So a lot of the people in the last year, you know, I'm a sophomore now, but a lot of the freshmen, the handful that did drop out wasn't necessarily because of Twin Park, but rather mental health, which is understandable. And as somebody who also does sometimes struggle with mental health, I understand the importance. And so I kind of discussed with the health center a little bit of establishing something at least once a month called cinema therapy. Now, cinema therapy is the use of movies or television as a form of therapy to help people to relax and keep them a little break. And so, you know, that is something that the health center is on board with helping us with. And I'm wondering if you guys would want to, as SGA, perhaps even make this happen, make cinema therapy accessible to the university. I think it would be very cost effective, it shouldn't cost too much. We have resources here already, and it shouldn't be too much to maintain. So this is a feasible goal that we can do perhaps monthly. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to speak about that and see what you guys thought. Thank you.
I was unable for the open floor. If no one else has anything, first open floor, we will now move into a closed cabinet. President Colombo, do you have anything to report?
Yes, I really don't make this too long, guys. I just have a couple things to say. I met with Tim Wilson last week. Yeah, so a lot about that. Tim and I talked about Wi-Fi, obviously, the phone systems, and a couple new systems that seems he's kind of focused on. And I talked to him about how certain areas of our Wi-Fi are obviously not working, right? There's issues of not connections issues, things are spotty. So he talks to me about access points, and that these things that have been going up around campus, he said they're in like every room in the building. But there's some areas where there isn't access points, and that is where SGA can come in. After this meeting, I would love anyone who's interested in IT specifically, help with Wi-Fi, come up to me, and we're going to, we don't do it now, but as long as I have you guys, I can do a little group in Discord, and we can just discuss creating a forum, because what we need is to gather data. And if we find where these access points are, we can inform the IT department. So they're obviously not doing the job completely right if we have to help them, right? So we are going to help them, and then we're going to pressure them to make this stuff happen, right? So what I plan to do is, with your help, create a forum, gather data of where people are having no Wi-Fi, spotty connection, anywhere that like, it can be as specific as possible. That's even better, actually, because these access points are about $700 a piece. But it doesn't matter. They'll pay for them, and we'll put them up. And if the Wi-Fi doesn't work still after a month, we will come back. There's certain areas like the Playhouse or whatnot that Wi-Fi still doesn't work, and they have to come in, right? So that's a whole different conversation. But for now, that's like the plan of action. Whoever wants to help me with that, please let me know.
Thank you, President Colombo.
Sorry, I have a couple more things. Faculty standing committees. These are committees where I don't have all of them up right now, but I'll explain them a little bit later. These are committees where there's senators you all will be on, and you'll be excused one meeting a month from here. So these meetings, faculty standing committees, they meet during the same time we meet. So you'll be excused from these meetings and you'll go to those. Some of these committees have voting rights for you. Otherwise, you'll be on or ex officio, which means you won't vote. You'll still be able to voice your concerns and opinions in those committees. I'll send an email all about all of that, and I'll send this towards you. If anyone's interested, you're welcome to come to this. I set up a president's meeting, all clubs and organizations, tomorrow at 7 p.m. to discuss collaboration and to be able to work together. Since there's not many clubs on campus, so I thought we could get together and try to do more group events and anything else that we can help each other with, either financially or just getting more people together. Recording rights for COPA, the initiative or the resolution that we voted on and we approved through SGA. I made the petition on change.org on Friday last week, and we already have, I think, almost 70 signatures. Let's push that, guys. So let's push that. Send it out, copy the link, put on your stories. Let's try and get 500 to 1,000 if we can. So I have a meeting with Keisha Lama also tomorrow to talk about this and what we voted on, and try and get that for conservatory students. That's it for me. Push that, and if anyone's interested in helping with the Wi-Fi initiative, please come to me after me. Thank you.
As for my report, we did secure Lawrence Hall 200 for our meetings in the spring. There are going to be 3 dates, I believe once a month, where we will have the UC 212, because for some reason, when I made the request in July, they said that they couldn't accommodate us here now. So regardless of what that is, that's where we are, that's where we stand. But the good news is the majority of the meetings are in here for the spring. Unfortunately, for fall, we most likely have to continue to stagger between here and UC 212, just because of the way CPS scheduled everything and how everything ended up. on their end, we did everything right, it was on them. But yeah, and, just a general reminder, make sure you're attending your committee meetings, and, if there's any issues, please contact either myself or your committee. That's all for my report. Chief Staff Gracie is not here, they were having, personal emergency. Acting Parliamentarian Kaiser, you have anything to report?
Oh, yeah. Not being emotional today, I'm gonna try not to. I just wanna say thank you for every person in this room. When I had to sit and make my decision about stepping away, it really truly came to my realization that I forgot what I joined SGA for, and that's because I got lost in the work. The best advice I can give is to don't forget what you're doing. You're here to make changes in this school, and we need a lot of change. Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't learn anything about DEI and anything that they had to say. We're living in a time where trans people are being persecuted. So, I personally defend that, but that's neither here nor there. Please don't forget what you're here for. Put in the work, but also take time for yourself as well, please. Other than that, the rest of you,
Alright, thank you. We're gonna move to, diversity after the inclusion chair, Royard. Do you have anything to report?
Just that the DCAT committee is in the works and hopefully we'll get that rolling next week. That's it.
I understand. Royard, Recording Secretary Potso, do you have anything to report? Thank you. Treasurer Carter, do you have anything to report?
My remarks will be made during the finance committee report.
Thank you. Communications Director Vogel, do you have anything to report?
Yeah, we did the second episode of the podcast today. Should be releasing probably tomorrow, not Wednesday. And everything else that I have to talk about is.
The graphic design coordinator, Giselle, do you have anything to report?
So I'll try to keep this simple. I tend to talk too much. Alright, so first things first, the newsletter for September should be coming out soon. I hope you guys like it. I bring that up in regards to future newsletters. If you guys have something you want to say, just tell me. Let me know. Send me a message about what you want the kids to know, whether it's in regards of what you've been doing, how you feel, issues you think that need addressed, anything you need to say. Of course, maybe not like a rant about, the Steelers game recently. That might not be what I would put in there, but anything in regards to SGA or what you're doing. And especially within committees, if there's something I missed, or you want a page about, let's say, your committee did something specific for whatever you're doing. And you're like, wow, I want attention to that. I want a whole page of the newsletter dedicated just to what we've been doing. Just message me, let me know that this is what I'm here for, to help translate the communication you want to the rest of the school. Next, fall funding graphic, done, nice. I am actually in the works of making like polo designs. They're nothing nice, a little basic, but something very professional and not that. You know that anybody can wear it. Let's see. I'm also going to be developing Halloween graphics, for this month, because I personally, you can tell me if you disagree, but I think I'm big on holidays because it adds spirit to this school. And it adds spirit to anything. And it's exciting, and it just adds a little bit of personalization. And especially to SGA, when you hear student government, sometimes people feel a little bit of detachedness from that because of the series. And it is serious. But that's not to say it isn't personal. All about this is making change for the greater good for all of us. And it's okay, so I think it's a good way to engage sort of with our surroundings and have something but that's essentially it. If anybody needs it, whether it's for your committee or whatnot, or just I'm an animation major, I'm a graphic designer, just again, shoot me a message, tell me you want me to draw you or make you a graphic design. Let me know, keep it contact. Yeah, thank you, that's all I have for
So, President Pro Tem Board, do you have anything to report?
I do. So, welcome on this under, as you all know, we do 1 office hour a week. I put a little binder in there, so it's really easy. It has like the first half of this concert, like each concert, just initialize. I really don't want to count people for office hours, and you don't want me to do that either. So just do them in initial, and we'll all be happy. Also, if you guys ever need anything, feel free to message me. I don't like any of you guys can run. So Discord is the best way to reach me. If you pass, the notifications push, but you're not. You know, that's it. Just see hashtag.
Thank you. We're now moving to the standing committees. Does the rules committee have anything to report?
Yes, we have 2 club constitutions to push through today. The Moonlight Movie Guild and then the Forest Calm Club.
Thank you. Does finance committee have anything to report?
Indeed, we do. Next week is a review period for Fulton funding, so finance committee members, clear your 5 to 7 p.m. calendars Monday through Friday for next week. We probably will not meet all 5 of those days, but make sure you are available in the event that we get a billion requests and we have to review all of them within the week next week. Hopefully, we'll just have to meet 2 or 3 times, but have that space available, and that'll be in the SGA office. And anyone is welcome to come to finance committee meetings. If you're curious about our finances and what clubs they're spending their money on, feel free to stop by. Otherwise, we have had emergency funding requests arise for today, so sorry to think about that to new business.
Next time.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You know in advance. But someone can make a motion during new business if they wish to do so.
That would be great, and the show choir would appreciate it.
Senator Pearson. Oh, go off, my bad.
Motion to.
We're not making a motion, we're not new business.
I'll give you a wink.
Sorry. You're on top of
I appreciate your enthusiasm, but you're not new business.
Thanks so much.
Is that all, Treasurer?
That is all.
Student Communications Committee, is there anything to report to that?
Yeah, so in the Communications Committee tab in Discord, instead of when to meet, I just said it twice. And I believe we have a lot more than 4 people in the committee. So if you're in the committee or you want to join, please go out to when to meet. Trying to figure out what committee times are going to be. Looking like Wednesdays, anywhere from like 1 to 3. So if everyone can fill it out, preferably no later than tonight, that would be super awesome. And then I'll figure out like Wednesday what time, and then yeah, just do that, and then all the other information will just go into the chat. But stay like up to date on the committee chat, just to like stay organized with everything.
Thank you. You are correct in saying that there are more than 4 members. I'd like to point out that there are 7 members of the Communications Committee, so 3 of those 7 have not gotten one. And I encourage those 3 to do so as soon as easily possible. Moving on, we'll go on to the points of the student innovation. Is there any reports?
Yeah, so we had that first meeting last week. Now, an overview of what we plan to do. This next week, we're going to be having a more strategic planning for the semester. Right now, the meetings, last meeting and probably this meeting, Friday, 11 o'clock in the SGA office. But I emailed that with me with me. I'm not sure if you want it in the Discord, but I'll make sure you do that. Anyone's welcome to come. Because I think this is going to be like a but if you can make it and you want things about great, again, and that's not what I'm looking
give, we're now moving reports to the senators. Do any senators have anything to report? Senator Pearson.
We lost another.
Oh.
My office hour did start with me scooping a fish out of the. No. I did, that was Saturday, that was Saturday.
We are still in a legislative body meeting. Please respect the rules on the floor and try not to blurt out things when someone else is talking. Is that everything, Senator Pearson? Okay. Are there any other reports from senators? Senator Raya? Brown, my bad.
My reports was that all the concert this week. Wednesday, Sunday.
Any other reports? All right. Reports, there's no old business today. New business, as you all know, Treasurer Carter recommended very last minute to approve some emergency funding. So, would you like to speak upon that? What the number is, all the details, if anyone would like to.
Absolutely. So as you may recall, last week we approved some emergency funding for the Center Stage Show Choir. They had more participants than anticipated. Well, their original order for the music had already been processed, and so that needed to be canceled, refunded, and reordered, which resulted in their ledger status reaching the negatives. So because they were very timely in submitting their request, and the change of what they needed came after the point of submission, I think it's well within their right to have their music covered as a show choir. The money they will need is $74.88 to put them back to a good standing in the ledger, and that grand totals our fall one allocations to $9,064.76, which is still $935.24 under budget, and will be the last financial altering of the fall one budget, seeing as fall two submissions are due on Friday, and we'll be moving into that funding period. So I think it is in good conscience to approve this, and it keeps us in good standing. So.
All right, if someone would like to make, if someone would wish to make a motion to approve what was it, $74.88 on the emergency funding, such motion is accepted at this time. Senator Blackland.
I motion to approve $74.88 in emergency funding.
Thank you. Is there a second? Senator Adams seconds. Before we go into discussion, I will remind legislative body members who do not pay, since this is a financial vote, members who do not pay the student activities fee are required to abstain from this vote as the student activities fee is broken out. Now, is there any further discussion on the motion? If there's no further discussion, we'll take it to the vote. All those in favor of approving emergency funding, raise your hand. All opposed? Any abstentions? Were you opposed?
Oh, no, I'm not opposed. I forgot to say something earlier.
Sorry about that. Any abstentions? The motion passes. Is anyone opposed to the motion? I counted 15 people. I'm pretty sure it's me2 here. Make sure we raise our hands if we're in favor or we oppose the motion, so that we can accurately take account of the number of people, but we do have a majority to approve it. I just need the number. So is there anyone who opposes the motion? Okay. Motion passes, unanimously with one abstention. We're now moving on to club constitutions, constitution of the Moonlight, Movie Club, acting parliamentary council, which one is left?
Yeah, so basically the club is mainly centered around cinema, and those who have a love for cinema. If they're put in place, Alexis, I think it would be a good idea to partner with them for your movie therapy nights. That would be a real good way to get their name out there and get some commercials for it.
Sounds great.
That's all I have.
We do not have the constitution. It was attached to the email, but, I just forgot to put it, up here, but you all have it. So I will simply speak, the purpose of this organization aims to create a safe, fun environment for students to connect with others who share the same interests in cinema. Each meeting provides the opportunity for members to watch a different film and discuss their opinions. That is the purpose of this organization. If someone would like to make a motion to approve this organization, such a motion would be accepted at this time. Senator Adams.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, is there a second? Senator Marinari, seconds. Is there any discussion? If there is, no further discussion, have your hand up or? Okay. Okay. If there's no further discussion, we will take it to a vote. All those in favor of approving the constitution of the Moonlight Movie Club, please raise your hand. All opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes unanimously with the Constitution. All right, we now move to the Constitution of the Sports Communications Club. The purpose of this organization shall be to enhance students' horizons in the sports and broadcasting industry with assistance in on-air development such as reporting, play-by-play, with guest speakers, photography, videography, and social media. I know, Communications Director Gola is, president of the organization? Vice President of the organization. Would you like to speak on behalf of, this potential student organization?
Yeah, of course. So, super passionate about the Sports Con Club. It's brand new, the Sports Con major, so we're in our third year. We're the main source of producing content for all of our athletics. So everything that's in season from soccer right now, cross country, and then basketball and so on and so forth. Like Trevor mentioned, we cover all of the broadcasts on air, off air, get everything out for either the student body or fans or alumni to watch. And we also, live reporting, social media. We have a bunch of really great photographers and videographers who do a lot of great work, and everyone that's on the broadcast side of things that do a lot of great work. So trying to just get the club recognized through SGA.
Thank you.
That's fine.
Who articulates the value? Do you think I do it?
No, I think, I'm just saying it.
All right, just keep it there. That's what I was looking for. Anyways, is there any discussion on, Sports Communications Club? That, can we make a motion for this? We have not yet. Okay, thank you. So, is there, if anyone would like to make a motion, such a motion be approved to approve the Constitution, grant design for Native Gazelle.
I motion to approve the Constitution of the Sports Communications.
All right, and here is a second, Senator Marinari, second. First, Senator Marinari, seconds. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, we will take it to the vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes and the club is approved unanimously. We now move to our second open floor. Does anyone have anything for the second open floor? Senator Mahan.
Yeah, I don't know who's in charge of this, but something that occurred to me the other day is we should probably not be using plastic cups for the coffee maker. The coffee comes out really hot and it is going to melt plastic, and microplastics are really bad. I had a whole job I worked for 6 months that was just calling people to scare them about microplastics. So like, that stuff was really bad, trust me. So I guess we should use some other kind of stuff if possible. I don't know what to do about that, but it's something I just wanted to bring up.
Yeah, so two things. One, I wanted, in correlation to that, I do agree with you. I believe Sam's Club in Robinson has a different variation of cup that's relatively, you can get a lot of bulk for cheaper price that is more of the conformist material, so that might be better. First solution to that. And the second thing I wanted to say, I meant to say this earlier, I was not stating for everything. I just wanted to support what NC was saying. I think what you have to say is very important, and I appreciate your passion for, our finances. And I think what you said about, like, like that emergency funding, I think it's important as somebody who is also, I'm actually thinking of Jordan, the choir thing or something. Because I used to be choir stuff, it is expensive, and your appreciation, sorry, I'm rambling. But what the president said earlier about the importance of getting to our community. Our choir could be a part of this community. It could perform for Market Square. It could do many of these things. But in a sense, your acceptance and willingness to help, this cause and to help them be able to reach out and say, that is important. And I think what you're doing for SGA, even though it was last minute, I do think it is something that is very important. And I appreciate it.
So, anything else for final report as a global?
That continues on. We have a special guest, even if, like most of the special guests, not paid now. Okay, so, thank you for still being here. And that was one thing. Actually, last thing though, it's MC's birthday. Thank you for being the best part of the best treasure.
Alright, on that note, yes, this meeting was long, but it is sometimes a good thing. That means there was a lot of debate, there was a lot of discussion. People were involved and asked some questions, and we're trying to represent the constituents as best their ability. So, yes, the meeting went long. That was mainly because we had a couple of special guests, but still, it is always nice to see people asking questions, and people actively participating in discussion. Is there anything else for our final people? Keely.
Just as a little announcement, Mocktail Mix-Off has been officially booked for October 25th. It's a great chance for SGA to participate in creating a fun mocktail and meeting mix clubs, but also another way for you to market your organization and outreach just the student body. So I hope to see you all there.
Thank you, Keely. There's
Last thing, swear. Family weekend happened, and we had a bunch of people go over to our SGA table. Senator McLaughlin, Christian, Sissa was there, and thank you for doing that. That was on a Saturday afternoon. You could do anything else that you were representing SGA. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. There's nothing else for our final floor. We'll move to announcements. Some of our announcements have already been announced in our final open floor, but is there any other announcements that anyone would like to make? If not, our Senator Mahan.
Yeah, I'm making a eco-socialist club, which is like the Youth Caucus Green Party of the United States. So like, let me know if you want to help me with that. I need 10 people. I have like 8 or 9 who are already interested, including a treasurer. We're in pretty good shape to get that started.
Any other announcements? Parliamentary hearings.
What?
Go on.
Dakota and I have, started implementing a big little program here, so if you want to offset any of the items about things that way.
Thank you. Is there any other announcements? If there are no other announcements, our next meeting is October 9th, unfortunately, UCG 12. It is what it is, people, so this meeting is adjourned at 4:45 p.m.